My sin of anger affects the people I love. I have a really bad temper, and sometimes I forget that I'm not the only one who has problems. Like when I come home from school on a really bad day, I forget that, I'm not the only one. So I lash out at my mom about things that aren't even relevant to that topic, but it's just, I feel terrible about it because she does not deserve that. And I forget always to turn to God and to ask him to forgive me, and my pride gets in the way, and it's just a mess. But
my sin of placing too much value on what others think of me affects me and makes me lose my sense of self. I get anxious trying to read other people's mind, trying to figure out what they think about me, and it's so easy for me to forget about what God really thinks about me and what his word has to say about what he thinks about me. That sin, fearing man, just sucks, and it's really hard to break that way of thinking. But
my sin of depression resulted in me turning my back on the Lord and cutting myself. Though the Lord has helped me stop cutting myself, the thoughts of cutting myself still plague my mind. But
my sin of anger affected me in that it would cause me to lash out at my family and friends, and I would hurt them, and the next time I would get angry, instead of turning to God, I would be so afraid of hurting them again that I would build up a wall and hold the anger in as much as I could. But
my sin of depression affects my doubt in God. When I was born with a hole in my heart, and that caused me to get open heart surgery. Ever since then, I've had a scar in my chest, and that caused me to really hate my body image. It made me become really depressed and just really hating myself and doubting God. I would always question why would God make me like this and why he would put this burden on me, and that made me really doubt in God. And so I just began to really become depressed with the way I looked and just with myself in general, and I just would just continue to doubt God with a lot of different things, mostly with my heart issue. But
my sin of pride affects me in putting me on the pedestal instead of Jesus. I thought I was a great person, when in reality I faced constant struggles like family divisions, purity, and apathy towards my faith. To people that even tried to keep me on the straight and narrow, I'd shut them out. I'm guilty, I'm bound, but
my sin of the desire to be loved affects me to pursue and desire luxury and sinful patterns of this world. It affects my relationship with others, especially with the Lord. It causes me to be distant from him. But
my sin of selfishness affects me and the people around me. It makes me feel distant from God and skeptical about returning to him. But
my sin of withholding kindness and love and the resentment of my father for rejecting Christ has affected me in my relationship with my dad. It has kept me from sharing Christ's love for him. In my relationship with God, it has put a wall between us. Because of my sin, I've kept God from working through me. It's blinded me from what God wants to show me. But
my sin of choosing to manage my time with the Lord instead of just giving it to him affects my ability to trust in faith what his word tells me is true, that he secured my future and that he is my strength. When I decide to try to fit my time in a schedule and fit him in some way, I fail. I choose selfishly to pursue things that don't matter in my life. I choose things that are wrong. I choose things that are selfish. And sometimes I feel like my relationship ceases to exist with him when I make this choice. My choice is selfish and unfaithful. But
my sin of anxiety has affected my relationship with my friends by pushing them out and caused me to doubt that the Lord is in control. But